Most underrated Falcon player. Either Zaza or me, low-key.
Super passive right now. I think they both kind of have to each other in.
Oh, wow!
What? Oh!
Ooh, he's kind of committing in the corner with the knee right there.
Yeah, he's got no plan, kind of scared. Okay, Addison soft low. Can't lose your steam, my guy. You're so close. Don't let Goosekhan get momentum because he's one of the worst to do it. Another onion!
That's a stop.
Oh! Okay.
Goosekhan going to town on FD.
Right.
I mean, this is typically the Fox stage. That's a stop.
Oh!
Here's the problem. Goose is my homie, so...
So many things knocked down for Fox, and you can turn any knockdown into like a stop. But Goosekhan gets the first opening.
My name is Usman Khan. It was a play on the nickname that I had in high school. My homies would call me Usman the Gooseman. Then it would turn into Goose, just Goose. And then when I was making Smash Ladder, my Smash Ladder account, I was just like, oh, Goose is already it's too common of a tag. So I had to include the Khan at the end. So I was like, oh, Goosekhan, it's a pretty easy tag, and it flowed off the tongue really well. None and S2J those are my favorite players. They still are, to be honest. They keep me coming back. All of their combos are so hyped. Their neutral is crazy. Their perseverance. And what I like the most about all of them is that just how hardworking they are. I didn't really know what Melee was as a game because I knew only like Smash Flash, but in like 2012, 2013 in like 8th grade, I had this homie ShamWow. Shout out ShamWow, that's my goat. He recently graduated, that's my dog. He showed me Project M because he's been like a huge Nintendo fan his entire life. I go on Project M and I look at Project M Turbo Mode, I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. So I started playing a little bit of PM in like 2014, 2015. And then like my high school hosts a Smash tournament, coincidentally run by Faust, of all people, when I was in 2014, 2015, when I was in grade 9 and he was in like grade 11. Yeah, Faust, well, I knew Faust by Melee, but he was just like, he became a proper classmate after that. Like I knew him, he's an upperclassman. He shared some stuff about the school, some like ideas like, oh, what course should I take later? And we were just friends up until that point through Smash. And then of course I met Prince and another homie, the Whoopster. I'm like Kakashi, bro. I just copy every single player. Literally all I do is like, oh, I see something cool, I use my shotgun gun, bro. I copy it. I do the Captain Falcon or color playstyle roleplay because I truly believe in the playstyle color theory, man. I believe that the color you pick influences the way you play to some degree. Just the way that the things move, the way the colors interact, just the way it hits your brain, I feel like something's got to be in it, man. And yeah, I guess that's one unique thing about my gameplay. Another thing is that I think I go for like crazy stuff in bracket. Maybe I don't think any other player is going to go for reverse soft knee, dash attack, Doraki wall jump, soft knee stomp in tournament. A lot of it comes to do with the fact that I just watch so much Melee. I feel like I have a really intuitive understanding of the game's physics engine that I can just kind of freestyle a lot of crazy combos and interactions because I know how a lot of things pan out just from watching so many combo videos and whatnot too. Because it's just like I'll mess around in friendlies, get some nasty combos. And then in tournament, I'm just like, wait, I've seen this before. I'm just gonna do this again. I think it can be a double-edged sword, just like going for crazy stuff. I feel like in general, I've sort of developed this sort of understanding that to make big upsets or make a win, you have to do crazy things in the heat of the moment. And I think what's really represented that is my last stock versus Aklo, where I was down 2-0. My mentality shifted from like trying to play like super proper to like, let's put on a show. And on my last stock, it was almost a reverse 3 stock. So what had ended up getting me to that point was playing super like nutty, aggressive, very off-kilter choices and really like out there options, high risk, high reward. And in the end, what happened?
He's frozen. Oh my
Gets
goodness.
the knee.
Oh
I got burned for it.
Can you finish? No, he gets burnt. The up smash takes it.
Should I have gone for that stomp? Probably not. But I learned from that, and I realized that, you know, you don't always have to go for the super crazy big reads to make big upsets. Sometimes what it takes to make a big upset is to just do your bread and butter that you've been doing a million times over and over. Oh my god, Prince. Prince would whoop my ass, dude. We were like 14-4 or something until like 2017. He would just destroy me. Falco, man, that's such a tough matchup. And then like my rivalry was like with Faust, like, okay, yeah, Faust is really good. I think we would like I'd take a couple sets off him, but I think back then he would win the majority of them. And Prince won the vast majority of them. And Prince also back then, like 2015 to 2017, he was just like I think he was just straight up better than Faust. Like he was consistently beating Faust with like Marth and Falco. It was really funny. Probably Zuppy, because out of all the Ontario players, I've played him for like I have probably the worst record versus him for the people I've played the most. I think I haven't taken a set off him, except for like this one set that has a huge asterisk when he was like playing on box for like 2 weeks. That was 2020 August or 2019 August. And so that like he's been a huge like I haven't beaten him, and he's probably the hardest opponent for me, besides of course Moki. Other than that, like in the beginning, Ryan Ford was the biggest bracket deming, and I remember like one of my proudest moments in tournament, or my proudest wins of all time, was beating Ryan Ford at the October Revenge of the Six, because it was the first time I'd ever beaten him, and he'd beaten me like 20 sets in a row straight over the course of like 5 years. And then when I started university at UTSC, John, Fox player, was also a huge bracket demon. And then he stopped playing as much in 2020, and the pandemic hit. Yeah, but I think you should be seeing a common thread between all these 4 bracket demons: Zuppy, John, Moki, and Ryan Ford. I would try every now and then. I would always try like to like not as much avail. I've always had the best results with my main though. I just love counterpicking, man. I love this game so much. I love playing all the different characters that I feel like let's just live a little, man. Just counterpick a character, play for fun. If you win, that's sick. That's fun. You get to do some cool combos with a different character. You get to change up the pace, and you get to go out on your own terms, right? You get to control your fate. I feel like this might get a little philosophical. We tend to overplay how much agency and control we have in this game, and I think that is for practical reasons. Because if we act as if we can have all this control, it makes it so that we are motivated to improve, because whenever we lose, the only deciding factor was ourselves. But I think it's important to realize that this is in general this is really just a 2-player game. And sometimes you will just straight up lose for like no reason. Or like it's a very benign reason. That feels seemingly random. And maybe the opponent was just playing really good, and you weren't playing as good. It's the first tournament experience was the Danforth Smash tournament, or our high school Smash tournament, and the only time we could ever play, because of the whole way that the school and faculty organized, it was really annoying. We had to play. We only got 45 minutes to play during lunch. And it was like a really fun environment. It's just like the stakes were high. It was like, oh shoot, the 9th grade. It was kind of like you had these mini crew battles. Like, oh, which people of this grade are going to go the farthest? Like, oh, the 10th graders are going crazy this year. The 12th graders, of course, they're kicking ass.
Nice one, Eddie.
Ooh, you suck, Eddie.
How does it feel, Eddie? There was one bracket, but because we barely had enough time, we just like, hey, yeah, if you're still in, come back tomorrow during lunch so you can continue playing your set. Of course, I had the homies, Prince, Whoopster, and Faust. There's Mark. Sick Robot also. He went to our high school. And when I actually had to start, I went to an ANC tournament, and I met a bunch of people there. And then of course, the homie T.O. Nozick, that's a legend right there. He was like, I played him on net play, and he was like, "Hey, you're pretty good. You should come out to some of our tournaments sometime. I'll even cover your entry." I'm like, "Thanks, thanks." I played in my first bracket. I went 0-2, but it was good. I wouldn't go to a lot of tournaments because parents were stricter. They wouldn't let me. I was like still a teen. It wasn't until I started. I was 18 that I started to go out more. Players I usually met on net play in Toronto. I would play them. So like people like Daryl, DRL. I played MG. He was on that play a bit. A melee tournament for me when I was starting was probably just go and try to learn as much as possible. Always like, because after my first tournament where I kind of got bopped, I kind of got that like ego check, like, oh shoot, everybody here is so good that I can't win this tournament, off the bat. And I don't really think I had that kind of reservation, like, oh, I'm going to win the tournament, I'm going to win the tournament. It was more so like, I'm going to go and have fun because I didn't have Slippy back then. Like, it was just delay-based net code. And so the only way you could play Melee was IRL Melee without lag. And I would just go there to play the game. Nowadays, you're going to go to just hang out, I feel. It feels like much more the tournament attendance is about hanging out with the homies. Whenever I go to a tournament, whenever I go to Greenhouse, I feel like my mentality has shifted from less of I'm going to try and win this tournament as much as possible, or to like I'm going to try and have as much fun with the homies in this social outing as I can get. And if I win, I can finally justify getting PG clucks. Sure, improvement and getting better and winning the tournament is a great, it's a great form of competition, but the way to balance that mentality, I think, is just treating it like a social outing makes the game so much more enjoyable in the long run. And I think that's why, like, for the foreseeable future, I don't think I'll ever like retire from going to locals. I think that's a silly thing to say. I'll just like show up, play friendlies, maybe even enter a bracket. Maybe I win, maybe I don't, but I just get to talk to homies. Biking to my homie's place to play some Melee. It's a 20-minute bike to my homie's place usually, and I play Melee for an hour, and then I go home. And then there's other great times like when I would bike to the locals. It's just like the commute and effort of going to the tournament and just like biking through kind of like treacherous car centric society and just trying to zoom through the streets of Toronto without getting hit just to play like maybe a puff in bracket or something and get camp. All that effort just for like a crumb of Melee. I think that's beautiful. In 2016 or 2017, I joined this volunteering program called Scarborough Cycles, and a lot of it is like community outreach and like infrastructure, like awareness of like, hey, biking is a legitimate form of transportation. We want to increase the viability of biking being a proper mode of transportation. We want more support for it. And so Scarborough Cycles had a bunch of different programs to help people, get their own bikes. I started off with the Earn Your Bike program where they give you a bunch of scrap parts and you make your own bike, a bike that I'm still riding to this day. It's beautiful. I volunteered pretty consistently until the pandemic hit for like 3 or 4 straight years. Like every other week, I would just go for like an hour or maybe 3 hours and just help people work on their bikes, fix people's bikes. And it was all for free. It was all a community effort. So it was like very fulfilling. I think one of my best wins, like of course being like ranked in Ontario top 5, top 7, top 10 consistently. That's one thing for me to be proud of. But I think what like my Ryan Ford win was one I'm super proud of. Having like really good records across all of the PR players in Ontario, I'm also super proud of. What I'm really proud of is just my ability to influence other players through my gameplay and just inspire other people through my combo videos. And when I went to Big House, I was like playing a set in doubles with Prince, and the person who I sat next to, I had no idea who they were, and they're like, "Oh, you're Goosekhan? Dude, your combo videos are sick, man. I'm a huge fan." I'm like, "Really? Wow, that is really just like it's so heartwarming and heart touching." Because I'm like, "Damn, I'll just be out here playing a video game and editing things in my chair, man." Like, I don't know why it is like y'all just give me love. I don't know what I did. I just tried my best. Oh yeah, and Gamo 2023 this year was one of my proudest like tournament runs. Even like I've gotten 33rd at every single Gamo I've went to. It's kind of like is low-key a curse, low-key a blessing. I don't know what it is. It's like first Gamo 2019, first major I ever went to, I got 33rd. Second Gamo 2022, I got 33rd. Both times I lost to Sunsei for 33rd for whatever reason, because Sunsei got upset early. Um, I know. Why do I have to lose to Sunsei for 33rd? And then the last year I had a really close game 5 set with Null. I beat Tranimal in losers. I beat Dr. Robin in losers. Really good players from Canada. Dr. Robin from Alberta. Tranimal, I think he was originally from Toronto. Was in Montreal for a bit. Now he's in Chicago. He's all over the place, but he's OG Canada to me. He's just a Canadian globetrotter. And then I lost to None. That's just that tournament. I was so proud of just how hard I tried, because I was doing everything. I was like making sure I got enough water, making sure I got enough like rest. I made sure that I was meditating in between sets. I brought my notebook. At like a really rough time in my life, I just somehow cultivated all this strength, all this willpower to just try my absolute hardest. And then seeing people congratulate me and be like, show me love, especially like IB, None, and like all the Melee expert chat or Melee Online expert chat homies congratulating me, all the online Melee homies, Toronto Melee congratulating me for my run, even though I maybe could have done better. Despite trying my hardest, people were like, you know what? You're the GOAT. The Gommel boat, especially, hearing that was just like, damn, there's so much more to this game than just like winning and playing and results. Yes, I was. I was on the Gommel boat, but I keep a halal, okay? I keep a halal. I keep a halal all the time, fam. I feel like Melee has made me a much more open-minded person because I've had to interact with a lot more diverse people because of the scene. The scene is extremely diverse, and I feel like being able to interact with a bunch of different groups of people, you learn people's new perspectives, and you get to learn more about how people like live their lives and different cultures and different experiences that people have, and it forces you, I think, in a good way, to keep an open mind. And learning to get better at this game also requires an open mind. Learning to get better at this game and being a competitor teaches me, or taught me, how to really just put myself out there and try really hard at something. And I feel like it's one of those things that taught me, how do you really just try and achieve something unique and profound with something throughout Melee. I feel like I'm beginning to achieve that. I'm like in a constant state of having achieved that, but it's also at the same time, paradoxically, I have to do more to achieve that kind of like uniqueness in the game. Ideally, I wanna have at least like I wanna be top 20. That's like my perfect idea. I wanna be top 20 for like 3 years straight. Top 20 for 3 years straight. I'm done. I think that's like I can hang it up. I can hang up. They put my jersey in the rafters. I'll be perfectly content with the game no matter what. Otherwise, I'm perfectly okay with if I stop playing Melee or for whatever reason today, and all that was left was, whatever I just did. It would be the interactions I've had with people, and I feel like to even be able to positively influence other people just by playing a video game and talking to them, I think that's something that's really worth, remembering me by, or like something that I'm perfectly content with having my personhood being remembered by. combo videos and like gameplay, they're great, but those are just a vehicle to make more deep bonds with other people, I think.